All right, there we are. Well, my light finally looks. I finally look like I got some good lighting in here. All right. Excuse me. I'm happy about that. Um, you see it in the thumbnail. Yeah, but see the light messes with my eyes too. You see in the thumbnail, Vietnam vet's insane story, and I had a local friend, and I used to pry him, tell me these stories, tell me another story, tell me another story, and it's kind of probably bad of me, where he's probably trying to forget his experience there, but he was a good man in the world, and he went through, as you can imagine, if I mean, historically speaking, what those soldiers went through, and and in certain type of political times and everything else, people in later years they want to talk smack about whatever, and the ones that are talking smack, they would be wimps. How they um you imagine this: you're 17, 18 years old, you're graduating from high school, you got your high school sweetheart, you're gonna go off to college next semester. Put the brakes on, hold the phone. Sorry, Billy, you're on your way to Vietnam. Well, what's Vietnam? Where is Vietnam? I mean, and it bugs me. It really burns me up that anybody in this country can proclaim and choose to be unpatriotic. Those are the cowards and wimps that would run if they got a draft letter. So I wanted to put that in there because you got to support the veterans. These people, they take everything for granted. Go to the cemetery on Memorial Day and look at all the graves of the soldiers while you're out there playing video games, Billy and Tommy. The generation of wimps. The generation of wimps. But they're the first ones to judge. And they haven't earned nothing but, living in their parents' basement playing video games. They haven't earned nothing. So there was my local friend. I was close to the family, and I used to stay out there. And he was telling me, these certain battles and everything that they went through, and he was the guy that would have to go first. Like they had a platoon and with so many people in it, but they would designate a guy who's the sharpest guy that could find the booby traps and everything. And go ahead, go through the jungle there and see if it's clear. Well, you better be good at your job, because if you miss a booby trap, that you're done. Now at 18, 19 years old, what were you doing at 18, 19 years old? That's what these boys were doing over there, risking their lives. So they got caught up in some real intense battles, and he said he was eating one time, leaning up on a tree, and he was eating or something, and you had to be very careful about having metal and stuff, because it would reflect the sun, and the enemies out there looking, and they could see a reflection glare somewhere over, and that would give up your location. So I don't know. He kind of said they caught the location and they thought they were secluded, and he was up, and he had just decided He had just decided to come down, and some kind of artillery mortar went right over his head and like took the tree down and all this other stuff down. And so he got down, and they were sitting ducks. They got caught off guard. And so he was scrambling, and he had looked over and he saw a body, and he said it was that he was mortally wounded, and the bullets were flying everywhere, and he had to use his body because he was exposed, and he was trying to radio and everything. You've seen probably, I mean, they're trying to radio for backup help, get the helicopters in, and just blast them away. But he had to use his body and another body as a shield. And this guy's a very highly intelligent guy, and all the medals, he got all the medals and everything, which it really doesn't mean anything to him. And he withstood, he fought his way through, and he survived. But the Vietnamese, they would tie themselves to ropes in trees so they could swivel around, and they would dangle. But a lot of times, he said 9 times out of 10, they would, after a battle, there would just be a body dangling from a rope, because it'd be like they were like suicide killers. They would dangle up there and get as many as they could before they got blasted. And so he made it through, and they suffered a lot of casualties. And and I see people on TV at these sporting events, and they're trying to make political statements, and they don't rise for the national anthem. Really? If you don't like America, there's a lot of other countries you can go to. That's terrible. If you see a veteran with the hat from a war, thank him, shake his hand. He's more of a man than any of us will ever be. So there was another a story where they would go in the city, and they would sell things on carts and everything, and they were supposed to be our friends. They're supposed to be the friendly Vietnamese or whatnot, and they would wheel these things down, and like food, souvenirs, trinkets, or whatever the heck it was, or something. And they would approach this cart, and then who was ever there would say, "Oh, I gotta go get something." Then they would remotely detonate something and blow them up. It wasn't even in battle. It was just all these ways they devised of killing. You had to dodge everything under the sun over there. They're pretty crafty in thinking up ways how to sneak you and kill you at the same time. And this friend of mine, he still lives not far away and everything. And I like to try to share some stories about these people that fought for us. And I have family that's served in the military in different generations and stuff. And, you see these punks at these sporting events and they don't stand, or whoever they are, they don't stand for the national anthem. Like, what are they, just for what? Some political view? And they're just candy asses? I mean, come on. But yeah, I wanted to share that story of because you do see a lot of the veterans up in age uh, at the grocery store or around and about, and they got the hat that says, me personally, I tell them, thank you for your service. I offer my hand to shake their hand. A hero. Yeah. What were you doing when you were 19 years old, right out of high school, with your high school sweetheart, ready to go to college? No, you get something in the mail. Well, there's a war when you got to go to this war. And these guys they don't want to stand for the national anthem at sporting events. Really? They should be lucky they make it to their car. After that, they should be lucky somebody don't bum rush them and make it and see if they make it to their car. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. But it burns me up when you see these punks, men and women, trying to make some political bull crap, and even the athletes that wanted to kneel down for the national anthem. You're living in a country where you play a sport and make millions and millions of dollars in our country, and they're kneeling. Really? They're kneeling? They should be cursed. Their souls should be cursed. Please forgive me. Forgive me. But, how self-righteous they are. I mean, they're kneeling. They're kneeling for the national anthem. And when they were 17, 18, and 19 years old, they were in college on scholarships, playing sports and going to parties and with their girlfriends. And they were the king, they were rocking and rolling. And then they get drafted to the NFL or a sports. They get drafted to a pro professional sports team for millions. And those punk cowards are kneeling just because they're able to play a game at a high level. I don't care what their message is, just because they're a good athlete. I'm not interested in like they're knowledgeable and got some higher intellect than the average citizen. So I'm supposed to take the lead from a athlete, professional athlete, like he's got more intelligence and intellect than the next guy. And all the while, he's betrayed the country that made him a millionaire for playing a sport. So everybody looks up to these athletes when they should be looking up to these veterans, because if it wasn't for these veterans, there wouldn't be any pro sports. There wouldn't be any country of the United States of America. So, like the Bible says, if you got eyes to see, then see. And if you got ears to hear, then hear what's real. Don't get your mind polluted with all that gibberish. So that's a little story there. And let's do the reading. Okay, we got just a quick reading. Let's we got to get some of this in. We got to get it in. All right. Let me put my eyes on. All right. Where am I? All right. This is just a little spiritual breakfast, and it's psychology. Hold my hand and trust. So long as you are conscious of my presence with you, all is well. It is virtually impossible to stumble while walking in the light with me. I design you to enjoy me above all else. You find the deepest fulfillment of your heart in me alone. One more paragraph. Fearful, anxious thoughts melt away in the light of my presence, because fear in this world is destructive. Fear. Unrealistic fears and regular fears are so fear is a major force and factor, and the devil just promotes fear onto you, gets in your mind. When you turn away from me, you are vulnerable to the darkness that is always at work in the world. So that darkness is always at work in the world, roaming to and fro. Don't be surprised by how easily you sin when you forget to cling to my hand. So when you're away from God, holding on to him in his hand, it's very easy to sin. Devil's got your mind. The demon's got your mind. You will agree to do things that you wouldn't normally do, whatever behaviors they might be. Some more extreme than others. In the world, dependency is seen as immaturity. If you're dependent on something like drugs or anything, you're dependent on something that's seen as immaturity because you need something else in your world. But in my kingdom, dependence on me is a prime measure of maturity. So when you have the knowledge and intellect and wisdom to be dependent on the higher God spirit, that's a sign of maturity. So that was the Vietnam story. There was a little spiritual breakfast in there, and that riding and jamming video was fun. I looked like a crazy man, but today I wanted to look more proper. I wanted to look more presentable than a crazy wild man shaking his head in the car to music. But that's just me. That's what you get. What's in the cup of JoJo? Usually spiritual stuff and stories. And I added that riding and jamming, and it was fun. So I appreciate your support and everything. And a milestone. I'm up. I was stuck on 16 subscribers for I don't know how long, and someone subscribed. I'm up to 17. Praise God. Just the accomplishment of just getting off of that. I appreciate each and every one of you. I know I'm not going to get a lot of subscribers and everything. I'm way at the end of the bus on the algorithm on YouTube. I mean, there's millions of channels and I'm not visible. I'm just not visible on there. But I forge ahead. I just do them. I enjoy doing them. I got a second chance at life. And if I could share a good story, I do the spiritual readings. If I can give that back to the people, my mission's accomplished. If one person can be strengthened. Other than that, if it's fulfilling, whether I got one subscriber or a million subscribers. So It's a hobby, and I got time on my hands. I got extra time that God gave me, so I might as well dedicate some of it to try to entertain, if you call it entertaining, and maybe some psychology and some spirituality to give you some confidence, give you some encouragement. The world has got a lot of darkness in it, and we got to rise up sometimes and think of different methods of getting through. So, so I'm gonna, I'll end it there. So remember, be the kings and queens of your world. Stay great. Cling on to God's hand. He'll take you along. You've got the power. And have a great day. I'll see you soon with another story. Bye.